Well, happy Tuesday, PBC. It's Brian and Luke again, and just coming to you to give you some reminders. The big reminder is this Saturday, the 27th, from 11 to 2, our Easter extravaganza. It's finally here. It's going to be a crazy week, getting all this stuff together, hot dogs, buns, drinks, tables, chairs, all this stuff. It's got to be done. So thank you for everybody that's helped fill eggs and brought them back. And if you haven't brought your eggs back, just please keep hands off of them and bring them to us. But because that's the promise we have. But we need your eggs at some point. But if you have eggs still, we need those. But this Saturday, remember, we're going to gather at 8 o'clock right here at the church. We're going to get to work. We're going to have everything ready to go by 11 o'clock down at the park. Then 11 to 2, we're going to have a great time. Not only that, we're going to share the gospel with a lot of people. So we are looking forward to this. And then at 2 o'clock, when we wrap things up, we're going to need you to stick around to help us clean up, get everything put back to normal, leave the place in better shape than we found it. But we are so much looking forward to this. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is so worth it. So thank you in advance for helping with this, and thank you for the eggs and everything that everybody's done. It's not for nothing. It'll pay off in the end. With that being said, and I said last week, crazy busy time, and this from here till, man, probably till close to the end of the summer, it's just going to be a crazy busy time. So I was thinking about that. How do we work through this? How do we not get caught up and so burnt out? I remember a time, I'll never forget, actually, flying from Atlanta to Anchorage, Alaska. And we leave at night like twilight. And if you've ever flown north, you know this will make sense to you. It stays twilight about the whole time. It never really gets dark. It's never really light, but it's never really dark. It kind of stays twilight as you fly north. And we've probably been flying for 5 or 6 hours, and it's been pretty quiet. But then you hear people start to mill around and start to whisper, and they start talking. Oh, come! You need to see this. Come look. Come look. Oh, this is incredible. And what was happening was we found ourselves close to the Alaska range. We were coming up on that, and we started looking out the windows, and it's amazing. It's just mountains, and it's just beauty that you can't imagine. And we had no idea what was coming, actually, because we were just in the beginning of the range. Within a few minutes, it's snow-covered peaks. It's giant glaciers flowing down between mountains, things I had never seen before. I was awestruck by this beauty of God. Just looking at this, wondering how anybody could deny the existence of a creator. I've been fortunate to travel all over this continent. I've been down as far as Panama, the pyramids in Chichen Itza. I've been to Seattle. I've seen Mount Rushmore. I've been in New York City. I've been all the way up to Kivalina, Alaska, down to Key West, Florida. I've traveled this continent one side to the other, and fortunate to have been able to do that. And I don't regret 1 minute of that travel, because God has given us this gift of this world we have, and it is absolutely beautiful. Don't miss it. Take some time. I'm reminded of a story. Frank Lloyd Wright, he's an architect, but he shared this story from his childhood. He's about 9 years old, visiting an uncle, and they were walking through a snow-covered field. And as they got to the other side of the field, his uncle was a strict man, and he got to the other side of the field, and he turned around and he said, "Frank, stop. I want you to try and look. I want you to notice how my steps across this field, they're straight as an arrow, direct toward my goal. Your steps, however, they wandered over to the woods, and then they wandered over to the cows, and then they wandered over here before you got here. You see, mine went directly toward my goal, and son, there's a lesson to be learned there." Frank Lloyd Wright would share later on, there was a message for him to learn there. It may have seemed like an insignificant thing at the time, but he learned a life lesson. And his life lesson he said he learned was, he's never going to miss the things in life that his uncle did. Kay and I like to, when we're up in the mountains, we love the mountains, and we like to go to these little stream-side trails off the side of the road, and we like to walk up those trails far enough where I can't hear people anymore, and I can't hear cars going anymore, and we find us a rock out in the middle of this creek, and we just climb out there and sit down, be still, and be quiet, and just listen. And you hear the water flowing. the birds chirping, and you're reminded of how good God is. 1 Chronicles 29:11 says this, Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the splendor and the majesty, for everything in the heavens and on earth belongs to you. Yours, Lord, is the kingdom, and you are exalted as head over all. Slow down. Let your path wander a little bit. Check things out. God has placed us here in this beautiful, beautiful place. Take a minute and breathe and slow down and see God's creation in all of His beauty. It'll work wonders for you. I promise. I hope you guys are doing great. Remember, God loves you. We do too. And we'll see you next week.